Greetings, dear panelists. My name is Me Syamim Rifaie bin Rusli.
And my name is Ahmad Hashim bin Muhammad Rasid.
Are you aware with the current pandemic situation? The business world is influenced indirectly by various external factors. These include global, economic, socio-cultural, demographic, technological, and political. Changes to those variables will lead to consequential changes within the performance of all industries. In December 2019, citizens of the planet were shocked by a newly discovered virus called coronavirus, or COVID-19. In December 2019, a coronavirus case in Wuhan city of Hubei province, China was reported to the World Health Organization, and as of 27 January 2020, the virus was detected in 12 countries. This factor forced the tourism industry into a pause in 2020. Thus, this research will focus on the identification of the relationship between the level of confidence for tourists and the changes in tourist behavior and preferences to travel domestically post-COVID-19 in Malaysia.
Problem statement. The global tourism and hospitality industry faces desperate circumstances where lives have been lost, companies are forced to close, and the public is on high alert. Declining demand is sure to shrink the industry and increase prices. According to the World Health Organization, announcing a global pandemic on the 11th of March stated that the effect of COVID-19 is on the public confidence and behavior, especially with the health and safety issues in traveling. Instead, Malaysia's Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture also stressed that all tourism facilities and goods must conform on the National Security Council SOPs. This is particular on safety and cleanliness. This factor also affect the changes in behavior and preferences among domestic tourists in Malaysia due to the limitations for people to travel. Increased sanitation costs combined with the capacity reduction regulations well below the maximum occupancy due to the social distancing could have a significant impact on the industry's profitability and further price increase. There are several significance of study that lead to giving benefits towards several parties such as government, the tourism industry, and also the public. Towards the governments, this research can be used to ensure the survivability of the tourism industry post-MCO, and one of the strategies is to focus on domestic market for quick conversions. The second one for tourism industry is to enable industry players and also the related stakeholders to envision the demands of domestic travelers post-MCO. For the last, which is public, this will give benefits as they can increase their awareness regarding the issues of COVID-19. COVID-19's impact on towards the attitudes of traveling and hygienes in deciding to travel, so that travelers would plan early in deciding to travel.
Next is the proposed theoretical framework. According to Simoniatras in Yaras, Oni and Bahia 2014, confidence affects the changes in behavior. This theoretical framework is adapted into forming our research hypothesis, which is there is a positive relationship between the level of confidence for tourists and the changes in tourist behavior and preferences to travel domestically post-COVID-19 in Malaysia. Moving on to independent variables. Level of confidence to travel. The level of confidence to travel is very important in determining the intention of tourists to travel. Due to the pandemic caused by COVID-19, lockdown is happening globally with all travel now restricted or in very strict measures with high uncertainty for a recovery. Previous studies have regularly recorded the negative impacts of disasters on the tourism industry, such as decrease in tourist arrivals and a decline in confidence in visitors. Thus, restoring the confidence of tourists and travelers must be a top priority in strategizing the comeback of the tourism industry. Dependent variables. Changes in tourist behavior and preferences. According to a study conducted by the World Tourism Organization, it acknowledged that certain shifts in the behavior of tourism consumers could be seen from the research data on the two armed conflicts of the 1990 to the 1991 Gulf War and the Kosovo conflict in 1999. Apart from that, according to a survey conducted by Bloom Consulting, loss of the market for visitors who will not travel again until the virus is fully eradicated are from 35% to 45%. 50% of the sample stated that they will not travel at all. This can be seen that the changes in tourist behavior and preferences is greatly affected due to disastrous events. Similarities could be formed in the pattern of domestic travel post-COVID-19 here in Malaysia. Let's proceed to the operational definitions. The level of confidence. According to Masnono 2005, confidence is defined as a feeling of trust in a person or thing. It is the level of how people believe on a certain item or issues that they experience. The next definition is the changes in behavior and preferences. Arturo Rosenbluth, Norbert Wiener, and Julian Bigelow said that changes in behavior meant by any change of an entity with respect to its surroundings. This change may be largely an output from the object, the input being then minimal, remote, or irrelevant, or else the change may be immediately traceable to certain input.
Alright, are you guys still with us? Moving on to the research methodology. The design for this research that we will use is quantitative research, in which we focusing on the statistical analysis of data that is based on numbers that will be used for a large scale of survey research. And then the study focused on population of local tourists that travel domestically in Malaysia. The estimated number of population of this study is a total of 78.2 million respondents, which are domestic or local visitors that were recorded in 2018. It is cited by Tourism Malaysia 2019. Okay, for the sample size, which is the sufficient numbers is minimum to 384 respondents, in which determined using the one of the methods which simplify the process of determining the sample size for a known populations. This is by the Krejci and Morgan 1970 sampling method. And the sampling technique that we use is a simple random sampling, where every items in the population has even chance and likelihood of being selected in the sample. The data collections for the research is both primary and secondary data collection method. And also, in this study, the data collection process was carried out through online survey tools, which is by link of questionnaire. Last but not least, the instrument of questionnaire is adapted from the survey conducted by Pacific Asia Travel Associations in 2020 and followed by the IATA 2020 and Tourism Malaysia 2020. Frequency analysis. We start from the gender. Most of the respondents are female, with 208 respondents with 52.9%, and the rest are 185 males with 47.1%. And for the age, is the highest of the respondents, which is 230 of respondents ranging from 22 to 30 years old with 58.5%, followed by the respondents from the group of 18 to 21 years old with 75 respondents, and the least, which is the ranging of 50 and above years old with only 24 respondents with 6.1%. Proceed to the occupations, which the sample obtained also state that student respondents are the highest with 209 respondents with 53.2%, and followed by the company employees with 65 respondents with 16.5%. And the third place, which is civil servants with 43 respondents with 10.9%. And the least, which is from the retired respondents with 7 respondents equivalent to 1.8% respectively. For the marital status, we can see that majority of respondents are singles with 74.8%, frequency with 294 respondents, while for married, it consists only 99 respondents with 25.2%. So we can see that the majority of respondents are single. And move to the frequent traveler. Most respondents who participate in answering this questionnaire are a frequent traveler, which 227 respondents with 57.8%, while for non-frequent traveler consists of 166 respondents with 42.2%. While for the last, we can see that respondents that travel domestically have the higher frequency, which consume of 2 to 3 times per year with 161 respondents of 41%, then followed by 4 to 5 times per year with 85 respondents with 21.6%. And a few differences we can see that travel once per year with 84 respondents that consumes 21.4%. And 83 respondents. Reliability analysis. Alright, for this one, according to Tabor 2018, says that Chromba Alpha at 0.45 and above are still in acceptable range conditions. So we can see in the items shows that both variables have reliability values at alpha 0.416 for level of confidence and alpha at 0.348 for changes in behavior and preferences. Okay, this made the sums of acceptable reliability result of alpha equal to 0.601. Okay, for descriptive analysis, we can see that questions of I am afraid to travel until the coronavirus or COVID-19 is declared contained, which has the mean of 1.62, and analyze that majority answer strongly agree. So this proves that respondents are still on their fear to travel until coronavirus or COVID-19 declare contained. And the purpose of this question also to examine whether respondents agree on their fear to travel or not until the coronavirus or COVID-19 is declared contained. While the second questions on level of confidence, the factors of deterring the travel intent. For the mean is 1.59, which majority answer health and safety issues. So these are the main concern of respondents regards to healthy and safety issues when they want to travel due to the risk of getting infected. So this question are more focused on what affecting respondent intentions when they are traveling. The changes in behavior and preferences. For the question of preferred ways of domestic travel, the value of mean is 1.22, which shows that the respondents answered independent travel. In this case, we can say that respondents prefer to travel independently, and also it also want to determine respondents' preferred ways of travel. And the second one, COVID-19 has greatly affected my attitude towards leisure traveling, with consists of mean 1.53. In these cases, it shows that respondent answer strongly agree to prove that tourist behavior are strongly affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Hang in there, we're almost done on the hypothesis results. On our early predictions of hypothesis, we say that there is a positive relationship between level of confidence for tourists and the changes in tourist behavior and preferences to travel domestically post-COVID-19. So, we can see on the summary of hypothesis table, the result of H1 is a positive significant correlation with the value of R equals to 0.339 and the value of P is 0.00. So we can say that the results are accepted. This can be concluded that the level of confidence of our tourists were influenced by the changes in tourists' behavior and preferences to travel domestically post-COVID-19.
Now, let's talk about the discussion and recommendation. From the research conducted, it is obvious that the tourist confidence towards travelling domestically post-COVID-19 in Malaysia is greatly affected. This is justified when many respondents answered that health and safety issues are the main factor in deterring their travel intent. As for changes in travel behavior and preferences, many selected that they prefer to travel independently post-COVID-19. This proves that there are changes in travel behavior and preferences. This factor justifies that tourists are not confident to travel but are ready to go out once the MCO is over. Last but not least, the conclusion and recommendation. One of the strategies that we feel like that can be done or implemented is by promoting safe travel domestically, where attractions and other tourism products adhere the SOP that is approved by the National Security Council.
And domestic market has been identified as the key for the industry to recover immediately.
It is obvious that the eagerness of domestic travellers to plan and the level of confidence in terms of health and safety in Malaysia after MCO indicate the optimism of recovery, albeit new norms in travel habits.
Okay, that concludes our presentation on level of confidence for tourists and the changes in tourist behavior and preferences to travel domestically post-COVID-19 in Malaysia. Dear panelists, thank you for lending your ears and attentions.
And remember, be safe and wear your mask.